Hey, John.
Hey Eric, how you doing tonight?
Good. How's it going?
I'm a little tired. Less excuse than you flying back from Texas last night late. But
It was fun, though. It was
yeah,
good. Presenting blockchain and cybersecurity, pretending I know what I'm talking
I
about.
would never know that you cared about blockchain. Never at all.
How was Disney World last week?
Disney World was great. I heard the podcast with Peter. Peter did a good job. It was awesome.
We literally cut out 10 minutes of Disney talk.
Well, hopefully we don't quite have to do that tonight, but I will tell one funny story. I think it's a funny story that happened while we were at Disney's Animal Kingdom because they have the new Avatar ride. And I know because you told me that when I went, I absolutely had to go on it. And actually, Peter mentioned last week that it was awesome and that he knew a cast member and got to go special backstage. We did not have special backstage anything. When we tried to break the doors open at 8 a.m. I think when they opened, and the wait as I have the app up as we're riding to the front gate is a 4-hour wait. I'm like,
Wow.
are you kidding me? I'm not going to spend 4 hours in line. I don't care what Eric said, how good Eric said it was going to be. And my family agreed. So we did not rush over to the Avatar ride. We instead went to Everest and to the dinosaur area and did other things. But anyway, that's not the funny part. The funny part is that after lunch, which we ate in the Pandora area because we figured we'd at least go and walk around it, the line was down to 195 minutes only, 3 hours.
Under 200. There you go.
Yeah, it was under 240. But the family was like, all right, it'd be sad. We would be sad if we left without seeing it. So let's just go do it. And so we did. We went over and got in line and we stood around for a little bit. And then Shirley was like, kids haven't actually seen Avatar. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, it's too bad they can't watch it while we're in line.
I can see you right there going, hold my beer.
Exactly.
Or my root beer.
I just dumped $60 on like a not awesome lunch. I'm pretty sure I could dump $15 on a movie. I don't know. It's one of those like local proximity things when you're buying a house or something like that. And you're like, yeah, what's another $5,000? Oh, it's only like a ton of money. Anyway, so we did. We I bought it in 2 seconds and then started downloading. And the bandwidth wasn't great, but they were able to stream. And I had my AirPods in my pocket, and so each of the boys got one. They got mono sound with one earpod or AirPod in an ear, and then I got to watch the movie silently from behind them while Shirley read on her Kindle. And so they got to watch the Avatar movie for the first time in the line of Avatar. And they actually didn't quite make it to the end because it was not a 3-hour wait. It was only 2.5. That's a very, very, very long movie.
Yeah.
We finished it up at the hotel room, but they got the sense. And the ride was awesome. It was great. And,
Good.
Yeah. And we spent 3 days actually at Universal. So we got a lot more Harry Potter than we got, Disney, but it's okay. It was a great week.
Well, that's awesome.
So,
All right.
you got a story for me today?
Was it yesterday? A tweet from a guy, Will Harris. He's Chrome security. He does security for Chrome security on Windows for Google Chrome, right? And his tweet says, I'll read the tweet and we'll put it in there. It says, introducing Trust-ICO, a new initial coin offering where your private keys are stored on the public blockchain. And I saw that. I'm like, this has got to be a joke. But you never know with the ICO market and blockchains. I'm like, somebody might be really trying to do that. And then a few hours later, I saw, now the tweet makes sense because there is a company out of the UK, I believe, named Trustico, or Trust-ICO. It's spelled the same. Trustico, I guess. I don't know if it's pronounced Trustico or not, but apparently it came out that Trustico had decided that they wanted to stop using Symantec or DigiCert. I guess DigiCert had purchased Symantec's SSL certificate business. I don't know all the rules of how CAs try to behave. I mean, they follow some set of rules. And so apparently what Trustico said, hey, they went to DigiCert and said, hey, we want you to revoke all the because they're a Trustico. I should have said this at the beginning. Trustico is the
reseller,
certificate reseller. Yeah. Yes, reseller. They get their certificates from DigiCert, Symantec / DigiCert now. So what they said, they sent DigiCert an email saying, hey, we want you to revoke all of the certificates that we have been issuing to our customers, which apparently is around 50,000 of them, because we want to move to a new partner. We want to use, I think it's Komodo. And DigiCert says, we're not going to, because the industry rules say that we can only revoke customer SSL certs if the end customer does it, or if you can prove that they are compromised.
Oh, that
or evidence of compromise.
That was the part where I could not figure out for the life of me why anybody would do what you're about to say he did.
Yeah. So then I guess what happened was on February 27th, I think it was, so a couple days ago, Trustico sends an email to DigiCert with 23,000 private keys from the Trustico customers, thereby saying these keys are compromised because I just emailed them
we had
to
them.
you.
Period.
Well, that's a whole separate topic. DigiCert's like, okay, you've now proven that these are compromised.
By compromising them.
We'll start revoking. We'll start revoking them. Then it kind of blew up on Twitter, trying to figure out how did this third-party Trustico have people's private keys, because you're not supposed to, at least by,
right.
As far as I can tell, kind of, I don't know if it's best practice or if it's an industry-related thing.
I thought it was standards of the authorities, or the. In fact, didn't the article that you sent me say that the issuer is supposed to verify that the reseller is not storing private keys? Like there was a reference in the article that the behavior was absolutely against the terms of service, at least. But that the only way how do you verify that if you have a CEO that's willing to send them by email?
Yeah.
He's probably
well, I guess it comes down to there's kind of these industry rules about how certificate authorities are supposed to behave and things you're supposed to follow. What I don't know is if they're legally binding or if they are just, hey, these are best practices in the industry. This is what we do. And the they list off, requirements with like numbers, Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 3 kind of things. So it says resellers are not permitted to archive certificate private keys. DigiCert, who's the certificate authority and then allows someone else to issue certificates on their behalf, DigiCert is supposed to verify that their resellers are not doing that. Although to be fair to DigiCert, it's probably very difficult. It's are you following the rules? And if they say yes, what are you gonna do?
There's probably something they can do to, make them culpable if found otherwise, as in this case. I guess the thing that I'd be curious to, see over the next week or so is what's the fallout? Why, issuing revocation en masse, have all of those customers already moved to a Komodo cert because Chrome stopped trusting the semantic certs before? Or is, that's a lot of customers to have already had, a mitigation plan, or, will there be fallout because certificates have been revoked now or may be revoked shortly that, there will be impact? I haven't yet seen any articles about knock-on effects from the revocation,
No, I haven't either. Other than, so out of the 50,000 that I guess Trustico asked to revoke, they only had 23,000 private keys. Well, those were in the email, apparently. Those 23,000 customers, if they haven't already moved to something else, today, March 1st, their websites are no longer functioning.
I bet Trustico will
properly.
be happy to sell them a Komodo certificate.
I'm sure they're trying to figure out how to do that, because I was looking around earlier today. Trustico's website was 503 service unavailable.
Ooh.
So offline.
Oh man.
I noticed Trustico was back up online later in the evening, so they're back. I'm sure they're trying to figure out how this all works, how it's all going to affect everybody.
Oh,
so I guess I understand why Trustico would want to move on, and their argument or their side of the story is, hey, we've got these people that are issued on Symantec's older network, which Google announced they're going to distrust all those SSL certificates because of repeated security incidents. So Trustico was like, well, I need to move all my customers off of Symantec, or indirectly DigiCert at this point. They were trying to, I guess, work this out, and did not get the response, apparently, that they wanted from DigiCert. And so went nuclear. And I think it's going to kind of backfire on them. But
I
don't know.
Help me out a little bit. I mean, I've never run a production web server. I've only done, rinky-dink things. What's the benefit of getting a cert from something like them these days, as opposed to just using Let's Encrypt? Is it the extended validation?
Well, there would be that. Let's Encrypt also is only a 90-day. You have to renew your cert every 90 days. There's automation to do that. So I use Google Cloud for my personal website, and it's all Let's Encrypt now, and I don't ever see it. It just, my personal website is HTTPS, and I don't know. It's just a checkbox. I don't know if it's history with a company, or if there's a relationship where you get tech support, you get something local. Prices are slightly different, maybe. I don't know why necessarily you would use one versus the other, or what would drive you to choose, something else.
I mean, you can get the EV certs, right?
Yeah.
I guess
that require a little bit more than just
a private key.
Here's my private key. Or, that was the other thing that was brought up in the article was, you ask yourself, well, how did Trustico actually get the private keys? Apparently they have an online private key generator. So you can create, it's probably very easy for, the nice thing, I guess, something like Trustico or any other reseller might do is make the process easier for
You don't have
people.
to run OpenSSL locally.
In making it easier, they also make it potentially less secure, let's go with, because I'm sure there are I'm sure they were trying to do the right thing.
Yeah. Wow. But, hey,
Anyways.
Don't zip up and mail 23,000 private keys to your friends and neighbors. Email's a great secure transport.
It's too bad there wasn't a better way to solve that issue.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like I said, I'm just reading the articles. I don't have any skin in the game. It sounds like they weren't getting the response they expected they should be getting. And we're like, fine, here, pay attention to us now. Oops.
Well, yeah. Anyway, okay. You ready for the second one?
Yep. Let's fire away. I am done talking about my new ICO company, Trust-ICO. Store your private certs with me.
Okay, so I have to say
private keys with me.
I saw that tweet, store your private keys on a blockchain, and I saw the Trustico, and later on I even read the thing. When I first saw the tweet, I totally was like, what? What the? And I did not follow up or anything. I just ignored it. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm done. Gave it the 2 microseconds worth of thought that made me go, huh? And then later on, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that was a relatively oblique reference to something that I would read about later in the day. Yeah.
Well, it had me going. I did the double take on that tweet because I'm like, really? I guess that's possible. Someone might think that's a good idea, but
no,
okay. I mean, you never know. In blockchain space these days, you never know.
It is frightening. Okay, so my thing was I actually just read it today, although I think it happened yesterday. So today is the 1st of March. But mine is the denial of a service attack against GitHub yesterday. 1.3 terabits per second.
Which is massive. That's like double what the Mirai botnet attacked Krebs with or something like that?
No, actually that also pegged past a terabit. So it's in the same ballpark, but it is the highest I think ever recorded. But that's a lot of data.
Yeah,
that's a lot of data.
Yeah, this one wasn't a botnet.
Yeah,
though.
Exactly. This was. It turns out I actually hadn't read about this before, although I guess I probably should have. But it's called an amplification attack. But basically, what they used were misconfigured and open to the internet memcached servers. So memcached is it's a caching server, often used as a acceleration layer in between a web server and a database or something like that. But generally not exposed to the internet behind your load balancer, behind a network firewall. But there are something like 88,000-ish open and misconfigured across the internet. And anyway, what the amplification attack is you can send a very small UDP packet to, that's the second thing, is that most of these are configured with both TCP and UDP open. And UDP has far fewer security features, since it is not a, what am I saying? It's not actually a connected protocol, right? You can just send a UDP packet. So,
right.
So what you can do is you send a UDP packet where you forge the source IP. And you can basically get the memcached server to return data to the wrong location, and the return data is much larger in size than what you send out. So you can send a 15-byte query or packet at the memcached server, and then it'll return with. I saw various numbers, so I'm afraid that the article I read said 50 to 1. So that would still require a relatively significant amount of bandwidth just to even if you're getting 50 to 1, you'd still need a significant amount of bandwidth. But I saw other things. In fact, Raj Samani tweeted something about seeing 1,500 to 1, and so if you can get the a relatively small, and probably not as small as 15 bytes, but a relatively small input to return several K or several hundred K of data,
right?
And to point all of those returns at a server of your choosing or a destination of your choosing, you can swamp them. So yeah, it was the not a simple replication of the Mirai botnet that I thought was particularly intriguing about this.
I mean, did it not GitHub offline?
They had slow service, intermittent service, they said, for about 10 or 15 minutes, I think. So basically I haven't read an article that, from them at least, that detailed their reaction. So I can't truly speak to exactly what happened. I'm hoping that they'll post something
right
that we can read. But they used Akamai. Akamai has a DDoS mitigation service, so that immediately started filtering. And then basically since they had it under control, the attack, well, again, we don't know exactly who was doing it and so why they didn't, but Presumably because the attack was not effective, it stopped 10 minutes or something like that. So it was not long in duration, but it was very large in volume. I thought that was a intriguing happening.
How many attacks maybe someone needs to go through it. Maybe it's already there and I'm just not paying attention. But it seems like we have attacks because of public read-write S3 buckets. Now you've got Memcached. I mean, is there like a list? DDoS, or things you can do if someone accidentally leaves. Well, that's actually now that I've said it out loud, that's kind of a dumb question. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of an attack.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is if your services, whatever your services are, if you leave them open, they can be misused, I guess is the lesson there.
They can indeed. And, if we can all manage to configure everything correctly, we wouldn't have these problems, right? Ha! Yeah, that'll happen.
Oh, man.
Although you did just mention something about an open S3 bucket. So I guess we'll do like a 2.5, like a bonus thing here for a moment. But did you see the LA Times? Back to crypto mining?
Yes. It was a week, over a week ago.
I noticed it last week while I was gone. So maybe it was before you guys recorded. But they had a open S3 bucket and with JavaScript, and
someone dropped a crypto miner on it.
Nice placed for a crypto miner. So I actually only read that on my phone. I was probably standing in a line at a theme park or something like that. So I probably didn't give it as much shrift as I could have. But
well, how is cryptojacking or crypto, dropping crypto miners in browsers? Is that going to replace ransomware for extracting cryptocurrency from people?
I cannot see, short of maybe some of the edge currencies that do have some sort of value but have a far smaller mining. I can't see how they make enough money. The hash rates of at least again for Bitcoin, at least the hash rates for the dedicated ant miners and stuff like that I don't even see how hundreds or millions of web browsers would be able to match up to a tenth of one of the ant miners, and they've got scads of those. So I can see like that. Maybe that's why they're doing Litecoin and Monero and the sort of fringe currencies.
Right. I wonder what that over under is then. How many browsers do you need to infect before you equate to a Bitcoin mining rig?
I don't know. I'm sure we could calculate that if the seconds per or hashes per second of the average computer. Anyway. All right. How about something fun?
Let's do the follow up from last week. So okay. I think as I mentioned last week, you're a recent convert.
I am.
To a password manager. Maybe don't use an actual password that maybe you still haven't rotated through into your password manager yet, but pick a password from years ago that you remember and go to Troy Hunt's Have I Been Pwned password site, type it in and see how many times that password has been used.
Whew. Okay, done. Oh no, pwned.
And your number?
I don't remember when the last time this was used, so I'm not going to tell you what the password is. But
don't.
3,856 times.
Is it a dictionary word?
Mostly.
With
mostly.
Mostly.
Yeah. Old style.
Right.
But yeah. Oh no, pwned. I heard that. I heard that last time. In fact, I saw just to bug Peter a little bit, but I saw the canteen truck sitting outside the office the other day. I snapped a picture of it. I
think that would, I know it's that his API and everything is kind of meant for serious work, but it seems like there could be a fun game you could build to see who could create a password or who could find the password with the most or who could get closest to a number by picking words and passwords. Like pick 200.
There you go, a little iOS game.
And people start entering things who can get closest to the scene 200 times.
That's funny.
I don't know. All right, well, so that was a fun one. So
that's funny. All right.
Yep,
All
right, 3,000 times. That's more than mine.
Anything from a decade ago or more. Okay. Mine. I'll give you my fun thing, which is it's really little, but it's something that I thought was kind of cool. And I thought it was cool enough that I actually signed up for their daily email, which I don't do for a lot of things, but my fun thing is visualcapitalist.com.
What is visualcapitalist.com?
It's basically an infographic a day. Email is that thing that is not on Twitter.
Of random things? Or is there a theme?
It's finance stuff.
Oh, okay. So that's where the capitalist part comes
exactly. And in fact, they have a new sort of subcategory for personal finance that they've only done a couple of them, but I'm kind of watching them because I'm hoping I can maybe use those to teach my boys a little bit more about personal finance.
Oh,
so,
cool.
But anyway, I think I first saw this maybe a week or two ago, and I was like, oh, it was chart came across. I was like, oh, interesting. And there's stuff on here that is optimism inducing, which kind of helps sometimes these days.
Okay.
So, yeah. For example, these 6 charts show how the world is improving. And so, it's charts about for the last 200 years of people living in extreme poverty versus not, or education or literacy and child mortality. That was actually a really scary one. Actually, let me click on this real quick. Child mortality 200 years ago. 43 died before 5 years old out of 100.
Wow.
Only 57. Yeah. Versus today, 4 and 96. And even 4, I was like, really? It's that high? Oh. Anyway, there's some great stuff out here. And I liked it enough that I signed up, and they send me an email every day. And I got to say, I actually click on it maybe 1 in 3 or 4 days. So that's a pretty good hit rate. Yeah, well, check it out.
I will have to check that out. Well, this is a light, fun one then, I guess. Something fun this week, even on my side. So I am a huge fan of documentaries. I love documentaries, especially ones about Earth and science. And when Netflix started putting all the BBC documentaries on, I have to stop myself. I have to turn the TV off, or I will sit and watch them forever. I stumbled across one which is hilarious. I love British humor as well, Monty Python, and they have a BBC Earth documentary called Round Planet.
Okay,
and it's by a comedian, and he takes kind of the Earth or the BBC documentary that they've done on Earth. What was it? Blue Planet. Oh. They did, these different documentaries about, planet Earth and life on Earth. This one is called Round Planet, and it's a comedian who takes on a persona of a natural history guy and just kind of makes very dry British humor about the planet. And I'm actually going to try to play the opening credits for the very first episode. So you can get a flavor of what it sounds like here.
Don't play more than 30 seconds,
This planet, hanging in space like a lonely blue pea, is our home. We share it with a dazzling number of other life forms, because the other planets are frankly hopeless. No, this planet is the best one. It's got everything. Flying things, furry things, stripy things, wet things, cold things, more wet things, and penguins. So many animals that if you put them side to side, they would cover the whole Earth. which they already do. For that planet is this planet. Round planet. The story of everything. Not everything, not shoes. Don't talk about shoes, but most things.
Okay. So does he just take like Planet Earth or one of a previous documentary and do a different voiceover for the thing without making different cuts, or is it like?
No, it's different cuts as well. It's a different show. I mean, a lot of the scenes I recognize from other ones, so it uses a lot of it, but it uses some of the footage that obviously got on the cutting room floor for various reasons, and you can imagine.
Okay. I gotcha.
Some reasons certain things might. I find it hilarious, and I think there's 8 episodes, just one season. I think in 8 episodes, and I think it's hilarious. So a fun way to enjoy a nature documentary.
So
that's fine. I'll put a link
it's on
to
Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
All right.
Yeah. Round Planet. So
all right, that's great.
Anyways, that's my something fun.
That'll be fun. All right, maybe I'll go watch an episode now. Veg out for an hour before bed. All right, man. Done for the night or done for the week? We'll call it. Good night, Eric.
Have a good night, John.
Bye.
Bye.